Hi everyone, this is Liz from Creative Life of Liz, and I'm here to do the setup for December 23rd through the 29th. This is my last week, and this being our Paper Crafts Plan B planner. As of when I'm filming, I don't have my new one yet, but fingers crossed it is coming soon. We're gonna hope for the best. This week I'm using this kit from Pretty Planner Printables, which I think is called Blue Christmas, but might be called something else. I don't know, it's down below. But this week is going to look a little different in terms of this video than what I usually do. So usually I speed you through the whole setup and then I show you the finished week. But this time I'm just going to show you the setup process for me. This week is going to be kind of a break from YouTube for me because it's going to be some family time. And so I do want to still post this video and just give you like something quick to watch that'll hopefully still be fun. And you can see a little bit more about my process. So I did do a little bit of prep work. I hand trim most of my stickers just using a ruler and my slice tool from Printpression. So when I did that, I also, you can maybe see the little dashes on a couple of these. I cut 7 headers out of this snowflake one and 7 headers out of this snowflake one so that I have enough headers for my setup. And then also all of this text was written in white, but it was really hard to read on this pale blue. So I went over it in this brown I by M fine liner, which is also the pen that I'm going to use for the dates along the top. And then the other things I pulled out was this Scotch Expressions washi, as well as this AliExpress washi. I'm just gonna throw these down at the bottom is my plan. So what I'm gonna do rather than speed you through everything is I'm actually going to hopefully talk through the whole process. We're gonna see how that goes. And hopefully it'll still be interesting. I'll probably do things in a slightly different order than I usually would to kind of accommodate the fact that I'm talking you through all of it. So to start out with, I like to do the dates first because otherwise I forget about them. The one trick with this particular planner is that things line up best if you're trying to put boxes in the middle to have a standard side header centered over this top line. However, I'm not going to try to put boxes in the middle because I have happy planner size boxes, so they're gonna go down here. So I'm just gonna line up along the top, and I don't mind if this top box is a little extra small. That doesn't bother me for these purposes. So I think for this week, I wanna use kind of like a scripty-ish font. I don't know, that just always feels like a very December type font. So we're gonna try this for all of these days. So I'm just writing the first 3 letters of each day because writing out the whole thing doesn't fit very well. This is the 26th. Fridays are always tricky when I use a script because of my F going down below. So I always have to kind of cheat that one. But a little bit the same with Saturday and Sunday because of how I tend to write my S's. So I think it turns out fine this way. Looking at my headers, I feel like this one is slightly more interesting than this one. So I'm gonna stick it along the top because that seems more fun. So I did trim just enough to be able to go across. I don't know what my cats are doing, so sorry you can hear weird noises. I think they're licking the sink because they're classy like that. It looks like this is just slightly on the large side, but I think it turns out fine. I should probably be lining up more with the outside edge here with how these are turning out. Like so. I think that's pretty good. And then I think I'm gonna stick down the other 4. Personally, I don't like having to flip back and forth between the 2 sides of the planner any more than I strictly have to. So usually I fill out everything down one side and then I go back up the other. So let's see. That gets me this far. So I'm only going to need the top and middle headers because with the Happy Planner length boxes, it's long enough to cover this bottom section. So I'm just not gonna put anything in for those. And then I do need to fit the bottom washi. So with these, they're both pretty wide. So it's like pretty close on fitting. So what I'm actually going to do is line up right at the bottom of the boxes, which is closer than I usually go with my washi. but I think it's going to be fine. I don't have like that crazy a week or anything, so I can make it fit. The other thing that I always have to keep in mind when I do this, I'm actually going to line them up, and I'm going to leave the white space right at the bottom for this purpose. The other thing I always have to keep in mind when I'm rolling washi is that I can only roll it this direction, where I am rolling from right to left, for reasons that I don't know. I don't know why I can only roll it this way. So sometimes if you see me flipping my planner upside down when I am doing a particular setup, that's why. It's not just for funsies. It's because my brain just gets broken if I try to roll washi the other direction. So any washi that has like bows or otherwise is directional, sometimes I have to turn it upside down so that it actually works the way that it should, and looks good and all that stuff. So I just have these last few headers to stick down. I've been going in order on them because I feel like it's noticeable if you're sometimes in the right order and sometimes not. I feel like you can tell then, whereas this time, since they're all going to be in order, I think that you don't even really notice that this is cut from one big box, and that, for example, this and this line up or whatever, you know what I mean? Anyway, not how it works. It goes in the opposite direction, this one and this one. Anyway, but yeah, so that's how it works out. So I do still have a little bit left on each of these, about a 1/2 inch. For those of you who are curious, headers standard size is 1/4 inch. So that's how far I cut them. But I do still have a little bit left, but I'll just deal with that stuff in a little bit. I didn't cut the last two because I knew that I wasn't going to need them. The sidebar sticker to me is one of the hardest parts of the Pretty Planner Printables setups because it's so wide. So this one I'm actually going to put up right up against the boxes. You can turn it into like a no white space setup quite easily because of this. That's not really my style though. And then I am going to stick this washi strip essentially down here. That does leave me this one as a leftover, which I will probably use on one of the days that we're doing things. All right, so now it comes time to do the part where usually I slow everything down and you get to actually watch me do all of this setup stuff. I'm gonna stick in the full boxes. So to me, these two obviously go together. These two obviously go together. And then that leaves these three as kind of the ones that don't match, as it were. Probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna treat these two as matching because they both have words in them. And then this one is the one that doesn't match, therefore. So since it doesn't have a buddy, that means that I am going to stick it in the middle on Thursday. I personally like to set up my spreads. I'm just trying to align with the right edge so that it goes across perfectly. Okay, so I personally like to set up my spreads so that it's kind of symmetrical around Thursday as much as possible. This is of course not always possible, but I do my best. Next up, I think it makes sense to do one of these sets. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the girls next because they feel the most Christmassy. So it's nice for Christmas Day to have girls, perhaps. Actually, no. We're going to put the girls on Monday and Sunday. I don't know why. I just feel like that's the vibe I'm feeling. So that's what we're going to do. Stick them out on the outside here, which then leaves these two that basically match to be for Wednesday and Friday. I think I'm going to divide it so that this one goes on Wednesday because I feel like the stockings are more Christmassy than like the cups of cocoa and whatever that's on this one. And Wednesday is technically Christmas. Okay, there we go. That one doesn't align perfectly. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna mess with it. So that leaves these two. I'm gonna put the Christmas to-do list on Christmas Eve, partly because that means that it comes before Christmas, which seems nice. And partly because I feel like this Let It Snow box matches the sidebar box a little bit, and I kind of don't want to deal with that. Okay, so stick that one down right here. And that is now our setup. That's actually looking pretty cute. We have one sticker, well, two stickers left here on this sheet still. The first one is the weekend banner, which I am going to stick, I think I'm going to stick it right up here at the top. The K is the center of weekend. So usually if you can center the K, it's more or less centered, and that's good enough. And then I have just this little strip left, which I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to hang on to that little strip right here so that I don't forget to use it. Okay, for the daily setups, not a lot is going on during this week because this is family time, but I am going to fill in a few things that I know. So I pulled in my leftover sticker book because that seemed appropriate. And I'm going to start out with this particular leftover, which I think came from Organized Potato, but really could have come from anywhere at this point. But I'm going to stick that one down, and then I have my seasonal stickers. I'm going to work my way backwards. So I'm not putting any foiling into this spread. This one would go, but doesn't, I don't feel like it fits. Oh, I could pull in these guys. They're pretty cute. These come from a Pretty Plantscape. Maybe I'll leave those out just in case. I have a couple samplers from Simply Gilded that are foiled. This one's not that helpful. I have a lot of like not helpful stuff here in my stash. So these Christmas trees would definitely work. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, I think we're gonna go with these guys. I do also have this reindeer sleigh, but I think I'm gonna use the Christmas trees. Even though there's no green in the spread, I think I just need to pull in a little bit of green. So I think I'm gonna use this one from Creative Cavern Studio, a little aspen Christmas tree. And this is gonna be to mark my family's Christmas day. We're probably just gonna be doing Christmas all day, honestly. So I don't really have anything else that I think I need to fill in here. Tuesday, I literally have no idea what's going on this day. So I think what I'm going to do, I know I have this box. I want to keep with the squared off boxes because that feels like it makes more sense. Then switching between squared off and rounded boxes, I think that's a little confusing. Yeah. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these sparkly blue boxes, and I'm gonna stick it down here at the bottom for whatever it is I end up doing this day. Wednesday is actually Christmas proper. So I am going to mark that using this Scrippy scrap that I had on my hand as a leftover. And I'm going to use now the Avery Christmas tree from Creative Cavern Studio. And I'm gonna stick it right here to mark Christmas. The other thing that I do want to mark, if I can find it in my leftovers, this feels like a good place to stick a checklist. So I have this one, perhaps from Counting Sheepy, perhaps from someplace else. I'm not really sure. But I'm gonna stick down a checklist because I do know that there's some like home chores and stuff that I need to get done for my parents that day. While I'm at the not knowing what's going in here, maybe I will use this a Pretty Plantscape reindeer. All right, let's see. All right, that looks super cute actually, and perfect for Christmas Eve, you know? We also have Hanukkah starting at sundown on whatever day this is. So I think I'm going to actually mark that over here as the first day of Hanukkah. Seems appropriate. This is a leftover, I believe, from Creative Cavern Studio. So I'm gonna stick that in like so. Can I fit a gnome? He's very tall. Okay, not fitting a gnome. That's not gonna happen. What do I have over here? This Wonder Sticker Shop, Wonder Sticker Co. I can use like a little snowflake. I think that'll work. Hardly shows, but still cute, so I'm gonna go with it. I do have this little silver foiled exclusive that goes with these guys, and I think they like fit around pretty well, but I think I'm just gonna use the outlines separately at some point in the future and not worry about it. Okay, not sure that really added anything, but we're gonna go with that. And then the other thing that I want to mark is this is a travel day to spend some time with different family. I'm gonna use the little gnome here. Does he make perfect sense here? Not really. However, he fits and he's really cute. So we're just gonna go with that on that day. This one, again, no idea what is happening. So this feels like an ideal day to use another one of these little glitter boxes down here. And I'm gonna finish off the sheet and make sure that there's a little bit more green on this page as well, like so. So this can now go in the recycle too. And then that moves us on to the weekend, which is usually days of like chores and things like that. So I'm gonna use the other one of these checklists over here on Sunday. I might put in the yellow checklist that came from this too. Just kind of have to see how that goes when we get a little bit closer on that one. But that leaves it pretty empty, but also the best pre-planning that I can do. So this is what it's looking like. You won't see a finished spread for a while. I will try to share it on Instagram sometime in the first week of January when I'm back on Instagram and all of that good stuff. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video and seeing the whole process kind of in slow-mo, as it were. As always, please like and subscribe below if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. Let me know what you're doing for this week. Are you also taking a social media break? I would love to hear about that. If you don't have anything that you want to leave, but you do want to say hi, leave me, let's see, a star emoji to say hi. I would love to hear from you. And then follow me on Instagram at Creative Life of Liz. You'll see in progress and finished spreads where I tag all the shops when I'm back on social media full time, as well as bits and pieces of my life, what I'm reading, all that good stuff. And until next time.